So you're thinking about owning a home in one of the towns and communities north of Dallas, Texas, but as you start to do your due diligence and your fuzzy front end planning, you might be feeling just a little overwhelmed because there's so many moving parts that you're just not sure where to start. Well, if that's where you are in luck today, because we are rolling through a strategic, high-level view of the towns and communities that we're all about here at the YouTube channel Live North of Dallas, Texas. So why would you want a strategic view? Well, have you ever heard of ready, fire, aim? You know, that's what some people say that they're doing when they're shooting from the hip or they're going off half-cocked, right? A lot of gun references here, I know, but we are in Texas. But simply put, the information you're going to get here today will help you identify the areas you really want to take aim at to enable yourself to take action with a greater deal of confidence, knowing that you're going to find what you're looking for. What a concept, right? And if you really want to eliminate wasted time and effort of going down dead-end streets on your home buying journey, so I would highly encourage you to stick around till the end, and I'll give you a sneak peek of our proprietary Math to Market tool, which, when combined with your success strategy, is absolute ninja level when it comes to home purchase success. And trust me, you don't want to leave home without having this information nailed down solid. And guys, if this is your first time here on the channel, and you're here because you're just looking for some clarity on what kind of homes and lifestyle are possible for you, then subscribe down below and ring the bell for notifications so you can be the first in line to learn the latest and the greatest about all the neighborhoods and communities north of Dallas, Texas. So with that, hi, I'm Phil Martin of the Martin Home Team, and my team and I cover everything residential real estate just north of Dallas, Texas, where you'll find cities such as Frisco, Plano, McKinney, Allen, Prosper, Texas, Salina, Texas, just to name a few. You know, we've been leading people through the home buying process in this area for over a decade, helping them to move with confidence. So whether you're moving in the next 9 days or 90 days, just feel free to give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email. My favorite, right down below, schedule a face-to-face Zoom call so we can learn more about what you want, need, and deserve, so we can help you move with confidence too. So let's jump in and talk about what we're laying down today. We're going to cover 5 area characteristics that will serve you well when you're looking for the homes and areas that will fit both your budget and your lifestyle. So let's jump right in and look at number 5. Where are these towns and communities north of Dallas, Texas that you're always talking about? Well, here they are. You'll see here, you see Dallas, Texas on the bottom part of the map, and that is in Dallas County. So the red lines are outlines of the counties that we're working in. And so if we go north of Dallas, Texas, and Dallas County, we run into Collin County. And Collin County is where the bulk of the towns and neighborhoods that we're working with and working within and bringing you videos for, that's where they're located. But they also bleed over into Denton County and will absolutely extend north into Grayson County. So this gives you a basic context of where north of Dallas that we're talking about. So now let's go to number 4. What are the main towns? We hear you talk about a few of them, but what specifically are the towns that are north of Dallas, Texas? Well, here we see we're zoomed in primarily on Collin County, and where the red circles are the main towns that we mention most of the time. We have Plano, we have Allen, we have Frisco, McKinney, Prosper, Salina, but there's many others in here as well, everywhere from Anna and Melissa going north. We have Little Elm, kind of just a little bit to the west of Frisco, Hackberry, the Colony, Oak Point, Paloma Creek South, that's a neighborhood actually, Aubrey, Texas, up north and northwest, you can see there. But where the red circles are where we primarily talk about, because that's where most people want to be. And where I have the red circles are where the original towns were located way back when they started in the 1800s and growing up, when Dallas was just a very small blip on the map. These were even smaller blips on the map. And so what you'll see flashing up on the screen are samples of what the old town looks like, which you'll find right where these red circles are. But these towns and cities have spread out, and they've got some pretty modern skyscrapers, urban centers, entertainment centers, incredible just residential areas, communities, and neighborhoods. And you'll see some pictures of that coming across. And in future videos, we're going to dig down into each one of these and even go further and talk about specific neighborhoods inside of these as well. So this is the main area we're playing in when we say in the towns and cities north of Dallas, Texas. And so now what's number 3? What about major shopping areas or entertainment venues? And what's interesting about what you see in these cities is they're located pretty close to each other. If you're in Frisco, you're not more than 15 minutes from Allen. If you're in McKinney, you're not more than 20 minutes from Salina. If you're in Salina, you're 15, 20 minutes from Frisco. If you're in Plano, you're 5 minutes from Allen. So if you're living in any one of these cities, you can enjoy the benefits of these major urban centers that are kind of spread throughout Collin County and into Denton County as well. What you see here highlighted in yellow are where we have very dense or high density entertainment and shopping areas. Up US 75 here, all the way. You just can't get out of just suburbia and urban, and there's malls, there's shopping centers. There's a couple of major malls along here, actually. Major corporations up into McKinney, where the historic town center is very vibrant, draws a ton of people every year. If you come down 121, this is called Sam Rayburn Tollway, 121. It's Highway 5 and 21 all at the same time, coming diagonally across Collin County, where it intersects with this road going north right here. This is the Dallas North Tollway. This intersection right here and this whole yellow strip is just an incredible array of the most up-to-date, modern entertainment centers, and it's just hard to explain. Major corporate headquarters from Toyota to Liberty Mutual to Pepsi-Cola, Frito-Lay. It goes on and on. The Dallas Cowboys have their headquarters right in here. We have major sports teams, farm club teams. The USPGA headquarters has been moved from Florida to right up here near the intersection of these two highways. 3 world-class golf courses. The best professionals in the world will be practicing here. Universal Studios is breaking ground in this area for a new theme park. So the point here is if you're living in any one of these cities, you're not more than 15 or 30 minutes away from everything that is the best of what the cities and towns north of Dallas, Texas have to offer. And it's all new. It's all been built relatively in the last 10 to 20 years. And it is world-class, and it's growing more and more day by day. So if you're watching this and you live in this area, down below comment. Tell us, what is your favorite area to go to? Is it Legacy West, Shops at Legacy? Is it Allen Village? Is it Fairview Town Center? Is it the McKinney Historic District? Tell us what's your favorite place, and it might be a local hole in the wall. Tell us what that is, because there's so much here for everybody to see. Well, that's number 3. So now let's go to number 2. What are the major highways? We've been talking about them, but what is it like to travel around? What is the traffic like? Is it easy to go around this area? Is it bumper to bumper traffic all the time? And here I think you're going to be delighted as well. If we look at this particular map, in red, we have US 75 that goes to the east from Dallas. And then we have Interstate 35 east, flows out of Dallas and goes through Denton and all the way up. Both of these end up in Oklahoma, right at the top of the map. And right up the middle, so these 2 red highways, they make a V, right? A V is for victory. And so right up the middle, right from downtown Dallas, is the green highway, and that's called the Dallas North Tollway. Now you hear me talking about tollways quite a bit, or turnpikes. These are pay to drive. That's true, and I'm going to point the 3 major ones out here, but let me tell you this. What you see in the black lines, the green line, and the red lines, we're talking about 6-lane, 8-lane. It's, rush hour traffic on 75 can be pretty intense, but the rest of it, if you're from the East Coast or West Coast or some big city in the middle of the country, you may look at this and go, I bet that's a big traffic jam. And it's really not. And the point here is you can live in any one of these cities that we like to talk about north of Dallas, Texas, and you're going to be able to get around very quickly on these highways and tollways. I've lived in East and West Coast myself, and it's just a pleasure to get around because you're not more than 20, 30 minutes from anything you want to do in this particular area. And so we've talked about the red V being Interstate 35 and US State 75 with the Dallas North Tollway going straight up the center. Then we have the 190. Everything has a number and a name here. That's the funny part about this. 190 is, we call it the PGBT, the President George Bush Tollway. A lot of my friends and I always call it the Bush. I was on the Bush today. And what's interesting about the Bush is it curves around right into Plano and then comes right back down into DFW Airport. And then there's 121, this black line coming across here. This is a tollway as well. This is 6 lanes minimum, 8 lanes in some places, probably wider than that in others. But this is an expressway right into the Dallas-Fort Worth Airport. I can go from Allen to Dallas-Fort Worth Airport, DFW, in 30 minutes flat, even in high traffic. If it's not a lot of traffic at all, it can be 20 to 25 minutes. And so this highway cutting diagonal, it's just an expressway extraordinaire. And the last one I want to point out is 380, and that's called University Drive. It is not a high-speed 5-lane, 6-lane. Okay, it is 4 lanes, and sometimes it is 6 lanes, but it stops about every half mile to a mile with stoplights. And it's kind of makes sense if you think about it, because all the growth started down in Dallas. We had these separate little towns which were miles away from each other, but as growth kind of pushed north in between these 2 red lines, the infrastructure has trouble keeping up with things sometimes, and everything up to 380 is modern, it's fast, but we're at the point now where we're just catching up to where 380 is being renovated, and the traffic in there is going to be a little stop and go for some time to come until they get that figured out. But I tell you, we move fast around here when we're building highways. The Dallas North Tollway, this is crazy nice and smooth. It goes all the way up here to Salina, Texas, which is not on the map, but it is right here in Collin County. And the dotted line is, in the next 10 years, this thing is going to go all the way up here between Sherman and Denison and connect into 75. And when like I said, when they build highways around here, they get it on. And so I'm excited about this. You can come from right here and be down here in 8 minutes. You can be from the top of the green, the solid green line, and you can be down at the intersection of the Dallas North Tollway and 121 in the midst of Frisco, where the Cowboys headquarters is, Legacy West, all the really cool stuff. It's 10 minutes, maybe 12 minutes, right? You can zoom right down. And so right down below, if you have a comment about what you think is the worst or the best one of these highways, a lot of people who visit here, they mention is, where am I at? Am I in Talladega? No, it's called State Highway 75 or the Dallas North Tollway. They're like, man, you guys drive crazy. So right down below, what's the craziest highway you know of? What's the worst traffic time? Or what's the worst traffic location that you see? And tell everybody who's looking and maybe doesn't understand this area what you think about the traffic patterns, what you think about how good or maybe how bad, I don't know, these highways are. But let us know, make some comments. And so that's number 2, the major road and highway traffic patterns. And so finally, drum roll please, we are going to get into what I call the house search context. And this is really kind of one of the most important things that you need to pay attention to in terms of characteristics that is going to help you really zone in on the areas and the neighborhoods that are going to be for your budget and your lifestyle. So let's go back over here and let's take a look at number 1, the house search context. We're going to put the area in context for you who are looking for a house. And here's what I want to say. The red lines are a V. The green line down the middle, that goes straight north, right? And if I start in Dallas, number 1, let's talk about price points. It's the most expensive in Dallas. And the vast majority, literally billions of dollars that are being invested in this area are concentrated for the most part, now there's exceptions, but for the most part are concentrated straight up the Dallas North Tollway. Okay, so the closer you are to Dallas, the more expensive the real estate is. As you move north, in general, you get more bang for your buck usually. But the closer you are to the Dallas North Tollway, the more expensive it is, because that's where all of the billions of dollars of real estate investment is. As you move out towards the left and right perimeters, or the red lines, and even beyond the red lines, it's not as expensive. So the further north you go, the more bang you get for your buck, or the more affordable it is. And the closer you are to the Dallas North Tollway, the more expensive it is. So this is the most expensive as we go north. It's still up in this area, it's still most expensive along the tollway. And as we move out to either 35 or 75, it becomes a little more affordable. So that's the first characteristic you need to know. Because if you think that you want to live right down here, right in the heart of Frisco and Plano, well, that's going to be probably one of the most expensive areas, because it's right where all the fun stuff is and where everybody wants to live. So the demand is really high there. So the other thing that we need to know, and this is really important as well, is that, back turn of the century, we had Dallas and we had all those little red circles, which you had to drive through countryside to get from one town to the next. But now it's just one straight, suburbia, one straight city. It's kind of hard to know when you leave one town and get to the other. But here's how that can help you. Dallas and everything down here in Dallas County was probably built in the pre-1950s, upwards to 60s and the 1970s. So everything down here is was built in a certain decade for the most part. There are exceptions, but that decade has a certain style of architecture. When we get up into, when we're coming across the President George Bush Tollway, the Bush, right, coming up, going north, we're gonna get into the 80s and 90s architecture as we bleed across into 121 coming across here. So 80s and 90s architecture has a certain look to it. It's not low ceilings, compartmentalized like 50s, 60s, and 70s. It's a little more opened up, but we don't have big open floor plans like new modern houses, right? The window technology is different. The building technology is different. But as we get closer to 380, right, and the V here is starting to widen out, there's more land available. Right? There's not as much competition for the land, and we tend to find the newer homes built in 2000 and beyond start right about 380 and then go north. Okay. Now there are exceptions to this. Of course, you think about these little red circles you saw, and around the little red circles, you're going to the houses in those old downtown areas. Yeah, those were built in the 50s, pre-50s, 60s, 70s, and it spread out in a little bit from those red circles. But the massive wave of building that went north kind of took everything over. So you can bank on down here being the oldest homes and the most expensive. As we go north, we get to more modern homes. They're not as expensive as they were if they had been in Dallas. And then as we get way past 380, we get the brand new homes, and there's a lot more dirt out there to build homes on. If we go down to Dallas, all the lots are taken. The only time we get a new lot to build a home on is when we bulldoze an old one down. It's kind of like having really nice looking teeth and then one falls out, right? Or older teeth and one falls out, so we got to put a new tooth in. And so you'll be driving down the street of all these old homes, and all of a sudden here's this McMansion looking very brand new. Not unusual. And that happens in all of these older neighborhoods where the houses are getting pretty old. It's called gentrification. So every once in a while you can find a newer home down in here, but because it's down here, it's going to be even more expensive because it's new and it's down here where the dirt is very hard to come by. So I'm going to prove this to you really quick. So as you get this concept, which is the number one, the context of where the age of the house is, which dictates the architecture of the house, which dictates where the price range of the house and its availability is going to be. It's all a supply-demand issue. If you understand that, you're going to be able to get right to where you're going to fit in for your lifestyle and your budget. You're going to get there much quicker. So let's take a look at that. Here we go. So what I'm going to do to show you and demonstrate what this age and what the distance from the Dallas North Tollway, or maybe out on those 35 and 75, on the edges of the red and the V for victory. I'm going to demonstrate what that looks like. So here we are. I'm going to pull up the MLS database map. I searched for 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and we're looking for things that are built in 1980 or older. 1980 or older, 3-bedroom, 2-bath. And if we zoom in, you notice we have some exceptions, but for the most part, all these 80s and 90s or 1980s and older are going to be, here's the old Plano right here, right? But look at this. They're still selling them for $400, $440, right? Down here along 75 in the old Richardson area, over here in the old Farmersville, you notice they cluster around the old town centers. And there's some but down here, these are going to be really small. These are also $350,000, and these are probably built in the 20s, right? So here we are with anything 1950 or older right down here. But if I come up into Frisco, I really don't find a lot of that going on out here. Here's where the historic district is in McKinney. So yeah, you're going to find some out here. Here's the Colony, which is a pretty old town out here. Louisville and Denton and the old town centers, that's what we're finding. But we're not finding it going north. So now let's take a look at 1980 to 1995. So we're moving up another decade and a half. And if we zoom in on this one, and this isn't everything, but this just gives you an idea. Notice it becomes kind of blank down here in Dallas and Richardson. It's no longer there because all these houses were built in the 60s, 50s, 40s. But now look at the density up through 1980, 1995. We're even seeing some things creep out of the old downtown McKinney over here. We start seeing these creeps. This is the old downtown Frisco, but Plano, the old Plano's right here, and you can see Allen and Plano and all the way over here is really starting to populate with builds in the 80s and the 95s. But we don't see a lot out here. So now let's go up from 1995 to 2010. So now look at this. This is 1995 to 2010. You have Frisco, and all across this line is just filling in. Allen, all this is Frisco. Down here is Plano. You can see Plano was built out over here mostly in the 70s and the 80s. That's why 1995 to 2010 isn't showing up in Plano. But over here, Murphy started to expand out. And so as I go further north, if I put my cursor over here, these are 500,000. This is 439,000. If I go over here, it's 475, 525, 489. It's closer to 510, 525. So you can see I'm getting more expensive as I come in closer to the tollway, 539. And these are just for smaller 3-bedroom, 2-bath houses, right? Now we're going to look at 2010 to 2023. There are so many houses, but if you'll notice, they're all along 380 and north of 380. That's where they're really focused and concentrated. And these are for small houses. This is not all the houses, but just for smaller houses. And you can see not a lot is showing up in Plano, in Frisco, and right in here. It's just a big donut hole, right? Because these have already been built. So if you want new construction, and you want new construction along Frisco, well, you're going to have to pay a whole lot more, because this caps out at about $550, these homes that we're looking at here. See, $490, $480. We got some new homes here. But this is just a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. We start getting more homes up here. A lot of homes start getting built up in here. So now let's go and see. We get a lot of requests. I can tell you right now, a lot of requests. I need a 4-bedroom home. I need 3 bathrooms. I need it to be about 650, 670, no more, but I want it to be in Frisco. Watch what happens. So this is looking for houses that are built in 2019 up to 2023, new construction. That's what we're really, we do a lot of is new construction. Somebody will call me and say, I want $650,000 house. But I need 4 bedrooms, and I need it to be in Frisco. So you can see this is priced anywhere from $500,000 to $670,000, 4-bedroom, anywhere in the blue outline. And there's not a lot going on in Frisco, right? And how many people do you think? Here's one house that came up at 615. So this house is probably a dog, probably doesn't look that good. And one available right here, and this is right just north of some very wealthy areas, very wealthy. Here's the PGA, here's the Dallas Cowboys. How many people do you think are going to dogpile this house and try to buy it? So if you're not going to be competitive, real competitive, and probably be okay with a house that maybe needs a little help, probably a bad idea to go there. But here's where your opportunity is. It's just further north. Nothing wrong with that. We're in Prosper. We're in Salina, right? But now, watch what happens when I change this to, instead of it's capping out at 670,000, let's go 670 to 800,000, and look what happens here on the map. And this is built in 2019 to 2023. You got a lot more popping up, a few more popping up in Frisco, not a lot, but again, the bulk are out here. So now if you really want to live in Frisco, here's where you got to be. Let's go 800,000 or plus. If you have 800,000 or plus, and you can live anywhere you want, basically, in the Metroplex for the most part. Let's take a look here. You'd have your pick of, gosh, see, but there's still nothing new in Plano. This is built out. This is definitely built out by 2010, all these houses here. But now you can get right in the heart of Frisco, or you can come over here and pay 1.3, 1.2, 1.2, 1.5, 1.6, it go 2.1. Over here, 1.9, 1 million, 1 million, 895. So if you have dreams of a $650,000 home in Frisco, well, I don't know. You need to look at these maps and have a conversation with us so we get you based in your true opportunity, so you don't waste time looking down here for something that just simply does not exist. So that was number one, the house search context. And so we just went through those top 5, and we showed you, gave you examples off of the MLS database to prove that there are indeed different characteristics that you just can't get around when we're looking at where the animals live, is what I call it, because elephants don't live with giraffes and giraffes don't live with zebras. And if you're trying to buy a zebra and you're looking where the elephants live, it just isn't going to work, and it's just a huge waste of time. And so with that, one of our jobs is to make sure that you're productive and efficient in what you do. And as your expert advisors, we're going to give you a clue on all this stuff. And so now that you're armed with this info, you're ready to create your strategy based on knowledge. You won't be guessing, and you're going to be ready to put your valuable time, not where it ends in a dead end, but where you can really dig into the neighborhoods and homes where you'll find the lifestyle and the budget that's going to pay off for you. So if you think those 5 things were helpful, where we are, where the towns are, where the major shopping and entertainment was, where the roadway and traffic is, the house search context, if you think that information gave you a little bit more clarity on where you really need to start and dig into your home search, go ahead and put that right down below. And we're going to throw up a QR code, and go ahead and click that QR code. Because if you're interested in these areas, any price point, any house, any decade, go ahead and click that. Schedule a Zoom appointment with us, and we're going to love to help you to work out all your strategy and make sure when we go, you'll be highly focused and very productive and getting the home that you want, need, and deserve. So let's, as we wrap up here, I told you I was going to give you a sneak peek of the math to market. And this is the tool that really is the cherry on top of the ice cream, or on top of the cake, that once you have this information under your belt, we're going to go and really just nail it. And here's what that looks like. And here's why it's so valuable to our clients who go through this with us. been using this tool for 10 years, 11 years, developing it and improving it over the years. So what we do is we focus on two things that are really much more important than price, I think, is we'll identify what your monthly mortgage comfort zone is, all in. What's the max you'd pay for a mortgage payment? And then we're going to talk about how much money do you have to buy the house, right? Not for the down payment, but down payment plus out-of-pocket expenses. How much do you have? And right now, if you were going to buy a $450,000 home, given these parameters, and using all the data from this tool, and it's a lot more than just what you see here as we walk you through it. It educates you so you can get informed enough to participate in your decisions, because these are $500,000, $750,000 decisions you got to make. But you can see this tool is going to tell us we're good. Yeah, we're good. We have enough money to buy the house, and we're good. If we bought the house, then you know what? We're going to be able to live comfortably and have the lifestyle and the quality of life that we were looking for, because it's within our financial comfort zone. So if we wander out and for some reason, you decide I want to buy a $550,000 home, very quickly we can see that, you know what? You can't even handle the mortgage payment because you're not going to get it because you don't have enough money to buy the house. And you say, well, my uncle left me another $10,000, so I have $70,000. I'm good there now. But you know what? It doesn't change the mortgage payment. It doesn't change the mortgage payment, because once these two are in the green, if you were at a 4,300, once you're in the green on both, we kind of know the price range we need to go shopping for. And then we take that price range and we go back to the map like we were just looking at. And what we do is we show you your possibilities, where the animals live that will give you the lifestyle you want. And you have all the strategic information so you can make that determination. But you will also know that you will never go to the house that doesn't meet your needs, never go to a neighborhood you haven't already checked out. And in your back pocket will always be a letter saying, I can buy it if I like it. And you know what? It's going to be not only doable, but it's going to be comfortable. And it's not going to be a miserable existence after the fact. And if you're going to sell a home and you get net profit, we can also dovetail that and plug up a yes, and we put your selling information here. We plug in your buying parameters over here, and we click a button. And of course, this will tell you how much money you're going to have left over after selling this house, purchasing the other house, all in, net. Everything is done. No other costs are in there. And we've taken into account taxes, there are comparables. We've done all kinds of analysis. But real quick, you're going to have the clarity and the confidence that as you move forward. So we're going to make sure that on the buy side here, that both you're in the good zone for being able to purchase the home, and you're in the good zone for being able to live there comfortably. And we know what the price range is, right? And then we're going to go over to our map. We're going to look at where those animals live that fit the lifestyle you're looking for, that fit this budget, this comfort zone that we've just dialed in. And if it's in your comfort zone, 9 times out of 10, you're going to qualify for it when you go to see the mortgage lender, if you haven't already. And so when we put all this together, it just takes the level of confidence that you have to go out and purchase a home, and it just takes it through the roof. That's why we say move with confidence, because we're never going to go to a house that doesn't meet your needs. We're never going to a neighborhood that you haven't already checked out. In your back pocket, there's always a letter that says, I can buy it if I like it, right? Because we know you can buy it, but better yet, I know I'm going to be comfortable there, and I'm going to get the lifestyle and the life that I've envisioned, which is the whole purpose of going through this trouble of buying a house in the first place. And if you're selling a house too, we just go to the tool, we plug in all the numbers based on taxes, based on utilities, based on all kinds of other metrics, and we know how much net profit is going to be in your pocket when you walk out of the room from selling it. And if you were to buy the house over here, given these metrics, and the only money you had to do that with was the profit that you got out of selling your home, well, then we know for a fact that we just put it all together, you're going to have a monthly mortgage payment of this much. You're going to have that much left over in your pocket after selling and buying. So when you put all those things together, our tagline of move with confidence really does come alive. So that's a lot of information, right? And this is our 30,000 foot strategic view. Coming up, we're going to have additional videos which we go down to ground level, and we're going to work our way through these major cities. We're going to talk a lot more about what each city has to offer, what particular neighborhoods have to offer. You don't want to miss it. And so that's why you definitely want to subscribe below. And if you want to talk about planning and preparation, 6 to 12 months out is best. But if you have to buy in 9 days, we can take the tools and the processes and methodologies that you just saw, and we can run it in a matter of days. And we can help you do that too, without a doubt. So give us a call, shoot us a text, send an email. My favorite, as I like to say, schedule a Zoom call face-to-face, and let's have a conversation about what you want, need, and deserve in lifestyle and in budget. And if it's possible at all, we will absolutely help you move with confidence too. This is Phil Martin, the Martin Home Team. Thanks for watching, and I hope you got a lot out of this. Take care.